I've been waiting for the fucking rain to stop because I was like, I want to make a video. I have a makeup video in a while, and the rain won't fucking stop. And like, hello, I have kind of like shit equipment. Okay, I don't fucking have equipment to record my videos. The rain won't stop because it's so fucking loud. Okay. Anyways, I'm just gonna pretend like it's not there. I'm nonchalant, you know. Poor man's house. My room is like fucking loud as fuck. Okay. Anyways, okay. So I haven't made a video in a while, but let's talk about today. What I want to talk about is, let me think about what I want to talk about and I'll come back, okay? Okay, I'm back. Okay, what I want to talk about is why it sucks. Okay, I'm not sure if anyone else feels like this, but I think a lot of people would relate. But low-key, getting compared to your parents is not, unless you're like I don't know, like I wouldn't say good parents, like let's not say good parents, like unless like you have a really 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 close-knit relationship with your parent, I think you would like it. But recently I got into an argument with my gal, and during the argument it was already pretty bad. Like, arguments are normal until she said something like, you're using your mother's technique or something, like during my argument with her. And that just fucking like it left me fucking speechless. Like, I'm like, excuse me? Okay, it's no secret I have fucking mommy issues. My mom I won't say she's the best mother in the world. She's still my mother. I love her. But to be honest, growing up, I found myself to be like distant from her. I don't feel 100% comfortable with her. Like, I felt like, call me a bad daughter, but I'm the type to avoid her if the scenario lets me. Or like, okay, the more like I'm the type to walk away from situations if I realize, okay, I don't think I am gonna be able to control my anger. But I have changed as I grew up, and then I've learned to develop like anger, and she sets me off. Like, she fucking sets me off. Like, she can just be standing there and it would set me off. Okay, I don't want to come onto the internet and talk shit about my mother. That's not what I want to do. But I also cannot lie that you should never compare your, like, I feel like those kind of words are the one that stung most, because sure, like not everybody's gonna have a good relationship with their parent, but it's gonna stung the most, because growing up I've always tried my best to stray away from what my parents are, especially my mother, because I think that she has traumatized me or instilled something in me as I grew up, to a point where I am the way I am now. Okay, I'm not saying that it's all bad, but something, okay, she's her own character, and it doesn't correlate. It When you grow up as a child, what your parent thinks about you is literally the most important fucking thing there is, because they are the person you look up to. They are the person that is there from the get-go for you. I was lucky and I'm privileged enough to have two parents. Like, my parents are not divorced, they're together, and they're present in my current life. That I'm really lucky to have that. But growing up, if your parents, right? If your parents are not ready to be parent, that's gonna traumatize you as you grow up, because you are there to kind of fend for yourself. Not to say like financial wise, right? But I don't know. Growing up, I always felt like my mother regretted being a mother. Like she wasn't ready. Like me and my sister stole her life away. She always wanted to be living this young, like this young life where like she has everything. Like she's not ready to grow old. And when you have kids, you don't really have a choice but to do that. You're basically tied down, and that's what growing up, she made me kind of feel aware of that. Like I am tying her down. And she has a lot of her attitudes that she has basically projected and shown me and my sister growing up. And that's why I fucking made it my life mission to be not like my mother, especially if I were to have kids. I am so afraid of that term DNA, where it's genetics is genetics. I'm so afraid of being or becoming my mother. It's like how they say, like, the abuse become the abuser, as if it's not always true. Okay, I think it depends. But then there is this term, or like a lot of movies or real life situations do project this, where like they show you, I mean, I think it's something psychological, but how the abuse child, if a parent's abusive towards their child, it's a high probability that that child will grow up to be the same as their abusive parent. They would mirror that to basically their future children. And it's not a thing that they can control. Like, I am so afraid of that. Growing up, all I can think is, what if I become like this? What if I become like my mother? What if I have the face of my mother? Everywhere I go, people just tell me, oh my god, you look so much like your mother. That scares me so much, That scares me so much because of how much feeling of how much negativity I brought to my life because of my mother's influence. Surely, maybe no one's ready to be a parent, let's be honest. Nobody really knows what they're doing. But come on, I am the second. You fucked up. If you fucked up with my sister, then don't fuck up with me. You know what I mean? Like, but of course, nobody is ready to be a parent. Nobody really understands what you should do to raise a child. But you can try. You can really try. And I don't know, I just feel like I grew up too fast. My parents weren't always present in my life when I was young, and I was never the favorite. It's a whole long story, but I put that behind me. It's just part of my story, okay? And I never blame my parents for it, to be honest, because as I grew up, they came through. But the damage has been done. Since you're young, you already went through what you went through. And I feel like that kind of mirrors how I handle situations. I feel like a bunch of my avoidance is mirrored from my mother, and I can't really help it. Like, oh my god, I'm so afraid of becoming her. Like I don't know why. Like, especially during like, I would never tell anyone growing up. I would never tell anyone anything about my mother. I would just I had a closer relationship with my father. Although my mother was more present in my life when I was younger, like baby, toddler, younger, and my father was the opposite. But then my father came through the more I grew up, and my mother kind of vanished. She kind of went to live the life she wanted to live. And like, she wants her life to be this specific way where sometimes she wouldn't even tell like her close personal like friends or something that she's married with kids. Like, I bet until now they still don't know. She hides it so well. But I mean, growing up, if you were to see your mother with a group of her friends, you'd be like, oh, you go up to her and be like, oh my god, mom. And what do you do then when your mother don't even look in your direction because she's so afraid of other people knowing you're her kid? I mean, I think my mom didn't have an easy childhood. Maybe that's why she is the way she is, and the way she handled things, and the way she runs away from her responsibilities. Maybe it all stems from her own childhood experiences. But because of how I've witnessed firsthand of how scary it can be to inflict that type of thoughts, memories, pain into your child, that I'm so afraid of being my mother. Because if you're a victim, you don't ever want to become the person who caused you to be the victim. You know what I mean? Like, I love my mother. I really do. But I feel like love, somebody once told me this, love and hate are basically the same face in a coin. They can be confused in a way. I ask myself, do I love my mother because she's my mother? Or do I truly love my mother because she's my mother? It's honestly a hard thing to say. And the last thing I would want is to become her. My mother always wanted me to be like her. If I get a haircut, if I were to get a haircut, she would ask, get a haircut like mine. It would suit you. From hair to, when I was younger, color. My favorite color is this. Oh, I'm sure you love that color because I do. It's my favorite color. We're so compatible, we're so alike. But then you were never there. I never blamed my mother for putting herself over her kids, because I always had that feeling I robbed her of her life. It's no secret I'm an accident. I mean, it's not my fault that I was born. And I'm actually happy that I got to experience the world. I'm very lucky to have that. I'm very lucky to be privileged with that. But it's a complicated feeling. It really is. Like, I'm your daughter, but also the reason why your life couldn't be what you would have wanted it to be. And I'm saying this not because like I'm overthinking it, but because, I mean, growing up, I feel like she didn't make it a secret. Instead, she made it pretty obvious. She was also pretty judgmental of everything we do. she wanted, I feel like she was trying to morph a doll into something she would be proud of to seek. And I was an idiot. I listened. I tried to be her doll, and it led to terrible, terrible things. I'm sure she didn't mean to do that to me, but you know, as a child, what your parents say really matters. It matters more than anything. Your friends could be like, I'm disappointed in you. Then you're like, okay. But it's different when it comes from your parent. Because you're their child. Everything they do and say it holds so much more value. That's what makes it scary. And I think that's why it's hard to tell them things. Because you're scared they won't understand. Some people are lucky with parents. Some people are unlucky without parents. And I might be like, oh, why are you complaining? At least you still have parents and not a parent. But even with parents, I don't want to be my parents. I'm really scared of becoming them. I had a fight with, let's go back to that topic. I had a fight with my significant other, and I didn't think that I was being manipulative or anything. I was just being honest. And honestly, I trusted her enough to tell her like my mother issues and like what affects me. And suddenly she brought up that I could have been acting like my mother, manipulating her, like what my mother did to me or something like that. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about that, because it just shocked me, like, because she knows kind of, that's what really scares me the most. Becoming like my parent without realizing, knowing that I have no control because of genetics. Fucking fucked me up. Like, I didn't feel understood at all. I truly believe that I have managed to stray away from them. The mirror of my mother, the projection of my mother, but did I? Like how, I don't know, it's a really complicated thing. I think it has to do with a lot of how you grew up. And maybe I was more of a sensitive kid. That's why, like, it scares me fucking to death to be compared to my mother. I mean, obviously, I got my features from her. I learned my values through my parents. But to really resemble them is such a scary fucking thing. Because what if I did what I do to like my future kids? What if I inflict the same pain on them? You know what I mean? And so what? You blame it on genetics? It's not something I can control? God, that's a fucking terrifying. To be honest, I wasn't really emotional when I cry. Like, if I watch like movies, I wouldn't really like cry that much about like scenes I don't really care about. Bro, but any like fucking mother issues scenes fucking kill me. Like, you know, Bluebird, I watched this like Filipino show, and it fucking sends me bawling because of like probably having issues with her mother. And that's how much I realize, even though I act like I don't care and I'm not affected, and like how much like my mother pisses me off on a day-to-day life, and how much I feel like I don't respect her enough, I fucking care. I care so damn much. Sometimes I just watch those movies and I bawl my eyes out because I ask myself and I tell myself, in the movie, this mother loved her child so much, but does my mother even care about me? You know, it's kind of stupid. It's kind of like self-pitying because of course she cares. She's still present in my life. She still considers me her daughter. And she still do things for me like some mothers do for their daughters. Like, I don't know. But if someone has changed, but the wounds they inflict on you has been constant since you were young, and it has already been pegged into your who's pegging? It's already been kind of hammered into your heart. Can it really be solved that easily by just like... It was probably easier because I've grown up and I am less of a burden now than before. But that's when I really needed them, you know what I mean? When you're a child, you have no choice but to rely on someone. And of course, that someone should be your parents, should be your mother. But instead, I felt shameful to rely on my mother. Because it's a constant reminder that I am a burden and that her life could never be what she wanted, satisfactory enough for her. The constant words that she throw around, like, oh, I'm gonna leave home, I can't handle it anymore. If I leave, are you gonna go with me? I believe they were just Asian tactics, to scare a child. But when you're that young, with so much going on, like, why would you put that burden on a child? Saying like, I used to go on vacations with your dad all the time. But now that we have you and your sister, all that money has went into your school fees. We don't get to travel anymore because all that money has went into your school fees. Like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, that's what I think. I think as much as my mother knew those words were gonna hurt me, she wanted to remind me of... I could be wrong, but she wanted to remind me of how good her life would have been if it wasn't for her daughters. Hence, the term, oh my god, you're just like your mother. That sentence scares me to death. The more I grow up, the more afraid I am of losing myself to so-called genetics. And it's actually fucking killing me. But I am my own person, I hope. I strive to be, at least. And in the future, I hope to be a good mom if I was ever a mom. I hope that I feel like no mother should ever put that pressure on their child. My mother isn't always a good mother, but at least she's here, I guess. So, Thank you, Mom. I love you. Anyways, I guess that's all I have to talk about. The rain has finally stopped. And goodbye. Happy end of Chinese New Year, I guess.